Let's just check this is working. Bum, 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 bum. Right, I'm in studio. Yes, it's working. Let's wait for some people to get in then. Yes, people, what's going on? Yes, guys, Happy New Year, everyone. Pissed off. Liverpool just got battered to fucking Brentford. It's not a good start to the new year. We've just gone on a winning streak of 3 games, I think it was. New start, second half of the season since the World Cup. Thought things would have went well, and they've just gone down the shitter. So I'm a bit gutted, really. But what's going on, people? I hope you're all doing well. I haven't been on a live in a while. Big up to the South Coast Hooligan. Big up to Nick Jones. Long time no see. I know, feels weird. The reason why I haven't done lives is because we've moved studio, and I'm trying to get a setup here as well. So I've got like a proper camera. I've got all the equipment. Where's all my shit? I've got the lighting. I've got a camera. I've got mics. I've got everything to set up a live within the house. I just haven't got someone to set it up for me because I'm not the greatest at technology. But as soon as that gets set up, then we can do like legit podcasts, and connect to people all over the world. We're going to do that tonight anyway. But yeah, like, I'm sorry about the aesthetics, looks, and maybe, I'm using an Apple Mac right now, so the camera probably ain't the best quality. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you all had a good Christmas. Mine's been proper chilled. I haven't really done much. It's been nice. It's been nice because I've just been so busy this year. It's just been manic, and I don't know. I didn't drink once. I had a sip of prosecco, like, over the Christmas meal, and that was it. That's all I had was a sip of prosecco. Didn't go out New Year's. I was going to plan something with Clara, but we ended up not doing that. So I'm going to treat her to something in the next week or two. But it's just been a chilled Christmas, a chilled New Year. I think it's been much needed, really, just recuperating and stuff. But yeah, so tonight we've got Derek Diablo. He's coming on a live with us. He's going to have a chat. Hopefully you guys can ask him some questions, as long as you're not nasty to him, because he does get a lot of stick sometimes. But he's going to come on. He is actually behind schedule. He said he's going to be 10 minutes late. So let's say 8 o'clock, he'll be on you. So yeah, if you don't mind sticking around and seeing my mug, then yeah, we can have a little chat of what's going on in the new year. We've got so much happening. We've got a lot of guests penciled in, some sick guests. I think you're going to like them. I'm just going with the flow now. Last year, it was more of just like, oh, we've got to get this guest on. We've got to get that guest on. And I was chasing guests. And I'll be honest, like 80% of them come on. But I'm just going to see what, where it takes us this year. I'm going to see who reaches out to us and who wants to come on, because we've had a lot of people who reach out, like saying, oh, I'd love to come on the podcast. And I've turned people down, and I actually feel quite bad about it. So this year, we're just going to just go with the flow, and whoever wants to come on the Central Club, as long as their story's fitting and, it makes sense, then they will be coming on. Matt in Vegas, what's happening, mate? Big up to you, Matt. You're always tweeting my stuff on Twitter. I hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you got a good Christmas. Derek Delboy D Diablo. Yes, man. He'll be on in a minute. We'll get him on, don't worry. So Derek, we're trying to get to see what he's going to do this year. We're going to get him back over, and we're going to get him to a football match. So yeah, we'll film that. If you haven't seen the mini documentary we've done, it's out now. It's funny as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. get Jamie Boyle on. Jamie Boyle's a very interesting guy, isn't he? I'll be honest. When I first come onto YouTube and I looked at this guy like, and I thought, nah, he ain't my cup of tea. Like, he's a bit of a he just weren't my cup of tea. Not in a bad way. I just thought, nah. But I've got to speak to him over social media. He's reached out to me and stuff, and do you know what? He's been nothing but nice and respectful to me. Like, so, that is a shout, mate. That is a shout. I might get Jamie Boyle on. He's a very interesting guy. He's written some great books, so why not? Yes, Billy. Big up Billy. Callum Browning. Yes, Carl. Did you have a good Christmas, bro? Get him on a Cardiff away day. So he's going to explain to you all now in a minute, like, because I think he's got dates he's booked in already. So I think he got dates that he wants to actually come on and, come down and visit. I'm sure he said Millwall. I wanted him to come to Swansea away. I think Swansea away would be sick. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it would be funny. Let's have a look. Where is he? I'm waiting. Yes. So, what else has been happening, guys? There's 23 of you in here. I hope you hit the like button. What's been going on the world of YouTube, the world of social media? There's been some mad shit going on. Gerwin Price playing darts with a set of headphones on. That was quite weird. I think he's, it's got to him a bit. I think there's a bit of mental health show in there. Delboy, get a firm together, come down Wildmill. Yeah, shout out to the Wildmill. Oh, Windmill. I thought you said Wildmill. I know Wildmill in Bridgend, didn't it? Windmill. Okay. Here I am, ready to go. Nice. Budge me when you're in. Yeah, shout out to the Windmill and the Lambwick Major crew. Good luck on 2023. Yes, big love, Bill. Thank you, and yourself. Yeah, wicked Christmas. Been quiet on here, but I'm still watching and supporting that. Yeah, thank you, bro. It has been quiet. It's been a quiet Christmas. Been watching stuff. To be honest, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, my head's been in the shed a bit as well the last couple of days. I don't know why that is, but it have been. Stoke, Cardiff, 2001, mental that one. Ask Evo next time. Yeah, so Evo was in prison during this time. My dad actually went to this game though. So I've heard stories of it, But yeah, Evo was in prison for that one, and we've just done a part 2 with Evo, ready to be released. So when that comes out, I'd say I'm going to release it in about 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't want to release it straight away because I ddidn't want to rinse Evo, like, do you know what I mean? Because when it's out there, it's done then, isn't it? And I didn't want that. I wanted to, like, keep some of his content because it is good stuff. Like, so it's there. And it'll be out in about 2-3 weeks' time. When's Curtis Warren on, lad? I won't be getting him on, mate. There'll be a big queue for him, like, do you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's people who have already kind of, like, noshed him off, kept him sweet. So, although it would be an interesting one, like, I don't think the Central Club will be on his agenda, which is cool. When his dealings fraud on again, he brings the numbers. Listen, like, I get it. I get it. Like, and I can see that, he does people's heads in, and he don't do any favors in that. But, I can only go on what I've seen in person, and the guy was quite a funny character. He's not what he is on the camera. He's totally different, of course. Obviously, there is a bit of that in him. He genuinely is that person in a way. But from what I've seen, and the same with Dougie, he was, top notch. Dalboy is a Man United fan. I hope he ain't. Nah, I've heard him say. Right, I'm just going to go through these last ones now, and then we're going to get Dalboy on, all right? Yeah, I was only messing. Yo, it's eternity here. Put your heads in the shed, bro. Yeah, shout out to you, Carl. Big love, brother. John Wedger, that's a shout. Carl Zaggy, just a big up Dennis. And I live in Manchester. Right then, who's ready? Yeah. So it's 2023. We finished 2022 in fashion with Derek D. Diablo's tour of Cardiff, where he got to meet a real life football hooligan. And I thought we'd start off the year with touching down with Derek from over the pond. Right now, live on the Central Club, I welcome you. It's Derek Diablo.
One more again, you already know his. Double Diablo TV. Like, subscribe, do things you're supposed to do. Stay central, champ. Happy New Year 2023. How you doing, Cal?
Yes, you're brother. Right, what's going on?
Oh, exceedingly well. We might as well update the people since what they last saw. They saw the podcast. They saw the documentary. They saw me there with Evo in the pub and everything. Then I was given the blessing to hang out. So then I stood in that pub for a while. You left, went on, and I had a brilliant time. I went there. What is it? Fuel? Fuel is where the oppressed played, where the punk rock bands play, right? Yeah. I went there. I went all a bunch of different pubs and clubs. And then the thing is with me, man, is I get on with all different type of lads that I meet around different parts of UK, right? So old men at pubs, when they hear my accent, where are you from? But also lads my age and your age. But also I get on with young boys. Like I went to a dance club, I went to a rave. They're playing more dance music. And the young boys there, kids, but they're wearing clobber and stuff. They're not really, football hooligans, I don't think. They're not soul crew, but they're wearing clobber. It's you. Yes, brother. And now next thing I'm hanging out with them, these are 19, 20-year-old kids. So I had a brilliant time that night, went out all night. And the only thing I didn't like was having to leave. So I'm meant to come back ASAP. I'm working with my management, and your fans don't know it yet, but I've been cooking since I left. And I sent this man a proposal for 10 different television shows involving me and him. And we'll keep that to ourselves for now. And if I can get myself back to Diff, I want to meet with a top television agency or producer or station in Cardiff. I got some good television content to create, and I want to be back in Cardiff.
Yeah. So people, obviously, since Derek flew back, I'll just run it down as well to you quickly. But the day after I left you, I had a phone call off the hotelier or whatever you want to call it. And she was like, yes, there's a man still in the hotel. He's still sleeping. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon. So you must have had a heavy night. Because you were sleeping till 2 in the afternoon. And they were like, can you help him get him out? When it ain't me, I said, it's my friend. He's in the hotel. So you must have had a good night,
Yeah, I did have a good night. I forgot that part. I do remember waking up a bit disoriented. But I'm sorry, I didn't know. I hope you didn't have to pay extra. I didn't know that. I didn't know I stayed late.
No. Don't be silly. Nah, it was good, man. It was good. And I wish I could have kept you longer. If I planned it better, I could have kept you longer. I didn't realize you was going to fall in love with the city so much, because it seemed to me like you was just like, look, if I can stay here, I will.
Yeah.
And I love that about you, man. You're so spontaneous in that way, and that's what I love about you. Do you know what I mean?
Let me stop you there, mate. It's not just any place. It's not just any place, because, you see the videos, and not disrespect South London, but, I'm in Penge and Peckham and these places. I don't want to stay there any longer. I just go there just to do it. You know what I mean? So the thing is, I said in the podcast, right? I said it with you. My Plymouth boys, I live with Plymouth, and that's I got loads of mates there, TCE and stuff. And obviously there's a football thing, but there's no genuine hatred. And a lot of them are part Welsh. A lot of janitors are part Welsh, and they're janitors before they're anything else. So like I was saying, everybody knew. I was like, yo, these guys invited me to go over there, and what do you think? Everybody says it. Everybody's leery. It's daunting. They say it in the documentary, in the BBC documentary, which I want to get into, because I watched that after the fact. But anyway, my mates did tell me. I said, what do you think? It's a dangerous prospect. But they said, nah, man. They said, if those guys invited you, it's for a reason. Like I said, they said the Welsh people, if they like you, if the Welsh people don't like you, that's another ballgame. It's a bit like Brazilians. But The thing about it, they said if I was invited, they said you're gonna love the people there and they're gonna take good care of you. And so the thing is, and then my other mate, I don't ever want to put down Plymouth. I love Plymouth. I like Plymouth better than London. I like the southwest of UK better than the other parts of it. They're better than London and that. Like, right? So they told me, my mate Paddy, he's TC and he's Welsh, and his family got a house in Cardiff. And he says, mate, I love Plymouth. I live in Plymouth. He said, but Cardiff is better. So the thing is, I was already brought into it from my close friends that I relate to. We're all Southern. That's what I think it is. And we're surrounded by water. It's like, I'm from South Florida. The people are similar, are warmer. You go to these other areas, this London and the like Northeast United States. I like those places. It's fun to go visit, but the people are different too. So I feel like that Southwest, that's the same as like South Florida to me. So it's because of Cardiff. It's so beautiful, and the people are so cool, and the respect I have for Soul Crew and the CCFC. It's those things. It's not that I go anywhere and want to stay there. There's all these other places in America I don't ever want to go back to. It's Cardiff in particular.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that, like, obviously, since the podcast, it's kind of like you've gone into like a deep dive, similar with what you did with the football. You've kind of gone into a deep dive with the city of Cardiff, and you've got to learn like the music scene, and like what actually the trends that are going on within Cardiff. And I rate you for that, for even taking the time to do that.
Well, mate, I don't do it in the sense of as any sort of duty. It's just my personal, like it's almost 3 p.m. My normal schedule, like you saw, I slept to 2 p.m. I normally sleep to 2 p.m. every day. So the thing about it is I'm up all night, and I don't have wife and kids. I'm just devoted to all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So I sit up all night studying of various stuff. So the thing is this, after I left TIFF, I leave. It's just on my mind and stuff. And the thing is, you have not seen, I don't know if you know, I made a new TikTok based on you making TikTok videos of me. And I saw I got over 1 million hits. I made a new one. And I called out Millwall. I wind up Millwall for the upcoming CCFC match. I told them that that's the match of their life. But anyway, as I said.
What's your TikTok? Sorry. What's your TikTok?
Derek Diablo TV.
Let everyone know, that's all,
Yeah, you're right. I don't do a good enough job plugging my stuff.
We'll plug it at the end anyway.
YouTube.com/Diablo TV. Then the Instagram is Derek Diablo TV, and the TikTok is Derek Diablo TV, and the Facebook is Derek Delboy. So anyway, but going back to it, right? So it's like this. So I went into coming to see you guys with what I knew about Soul Crew, which is that the fact is, though, I realized after the fact, I tried to go back and look for a Real Football Factory's episode. There isn't one. He skipped it. But why would you skip the biggest or one of the strongest groups? And then it's like I started looking back and thinking back. And then I started looking for other stuff. I'm like, wow, I've never seen a documentary or a movie about Soul Crew. From hearing people talk and from hearing the reputation, that's very different. And I didn't read the Soul Crew book. I tried to buy the Soul Crew book. It all sold out. There's no new copies, only used copy. I want to get one from Lakey himself. I want to meet him. I want him to autograph it for me. So anyway, I started seeing, these English, they just don't talk. And on the banter groups, I never hear anybody saying Soul Crew, but it's like the elephant in the room because the English just don't want to address it. I see there's that tribal thing. Instead of saying, Soul Crew is one of the best or the best or one of the toughest or say they shit or anything like that, they just don't say anything. So I realized I hadn't really been exposed. And then I found the BBC documentary. You seen it?
Yeah, of course. The one in the early 2000s.
Yes. So that's not even that old. My favorite, and mind you, the movies is what the music got me into the hooliganism, and then watching the documentaries and the films. So to me, the best documentary of all, and the documentaries is what I watch. The films are films.
Yeah.
But the Millwall 1977, that's always been to me the best one. And then you got a couple other ones. You got a smaller one that just has Colin Blaney from Manchester United, you know what I mean? ICJ, rest in peace. I was meant to meet him. He sent me a couple books. Rest in peace, that guy, influence on me. Has Hot Shot. So that's like a little bit that talks. And there's other bits and bobs, and there's a Real Football Factories and that. But the BBC documentary, Cardiff Soul Crew, they went on the rampage for 2 days. Then they came home. and it has like Clockwork Orange style music, and that's something we didn't get into. As I studied the history of all this, I talked to the original lads. My mate, who's an 838 from Plymouth, who's one of the founders of TCE. Yeah. He says, the Clockwork Orange. And I read that before, that it was disgusting to the filmmakers that lads started going to football matches dressed as Clockwork Orange when the film came out. So that has to do with the origins of the Boot Boys, you know. And I know I watched Evo's podcast. I watched Anis Abraham podcast of yours, so I learned a lot from that. You know, and I know that the Cardiff got a bit into it a little later, 1982, as casuals and so forth. Yeah. But watching that, I recommend it to anybody. And maybe some people don't like this stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe some people from Cardiff get horrified by it. You should have pride. You want to be from a city of a bunch of jabronis? You should be proud. Your people are brave warriors and dominant and fear no one. The dragon, brother. Hey, but let me say this. So it's like this. I'm into characters. People, do I really follow football? But I look up to people like Jonathan Evans, and I see what he says. He said he never knew any of the players. He sees the guys in the away end, and he wants to get them. Yeah, I can relate more to that. But more than that, people look at me as being into the violence thing. Yeah, that's part of it. But I'm really into comic books and wrestling and kung fu movies. So it amounts to characters. You have this environment, which is the world or football or gangs, Marvel comics, DC comics, Shaw Brothers Kung Fu, WWF, WCW. Okay, fine. You got a ring and you got a city. It's the characters. So in the Millwall 1977 documentary, my favorite is Harry the Dog. If you've seen that one, Harry the Dog. And they got a couple other geezers, and they're pretty cool and everything like that. But there's one ginger boy. But I didn't relate. There's one guy who teaches kids, and he's in the halfway line, but I don't know his name. So, but still, that's my favorite documentary of hooliganism. That influenced me the most. Until I saw this Cardiff BBC documentary, buddy. And then you got the characters. You got the millionaire hooligan, Anis Abraham. You got the top boy, fearless. He knows him since he's 12 years old, Jonathan Evans. You got the eccentric geezer, the legend Sam Hammam, best owner of any professional football or any sports team I've ever seen in my life. I want to meet that guy, Sam Hammam. That's the
yeah. I could probably work that out with Anis because him and Anis are still very close. They still talk. I would love him to buy Cardiff City again because Cardiff, as a football club, is going to the shits. They're looking like they could get relegated this year, and it's not a good time for Cardiff fans. Do you know what I mean? But Anis Abraham is a true Cardiff fan who got a bit of money behind him, and so is Sam Hammam, I think. And they need something like that. This Vincent Tan guy who has turned the city from blue to red, and it's just tainted so bad. And until he goes, it's going to stay this way.
Well, the thing is this. It's not up to me to give my opinion on what's going on over there, but I have my heart behind Cardiff now and CCFC, so I want the best, and I'm going to use my will and my magic to make that happen. But here's the thing. If I may say what I see, it's not that chap's fault. Well, he's from Malaysia. He's from a different country. Now the Sam Hammam is Lebanese, but he's a geezer. He's British, like me. But the other chap, I don't know, Vincent Tan, nothing against him. I'm sure he did it with the right idea in mind, and I think he's trying to do the right thing in his mind. But I saw something he was saying about his Jacks, about Swansea, and he's saying, "Oh, because I don't understand that. Why can't they come here?" Well, you're not respecting the culture.
Yeah,
the British tradition of football, to me, what I know is one city hates another. Your parents hated them. Their parents hated them. Whether it's come a busting a strike up or Swansea is jealous of Diff. And they got a chip on their shoulder. That's what it is with them. So either way, there's hatred between all these cities. Portsmouth and Southampton, Plymouth and Exeter, there's hatred. And the other people don't want to keep that alive. Nah, we're going to keep it alive. We'll teach it to the next generation. So he should just pay respect to that first and foremost. If my fan base hates these people, then he should hate them too.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing of Newport.
It's tribal.
Yeah, but am I right or wrong saying what I see is that every city, so thus every club and every firm has that fixture, that hatred of one group in particular. They might have rivalries with others. Of course. So to be mates with Cardiff, you can't be friends with Jacks. To be mates with Plymouth, you can't be friends with Exeter. They don't mind me, So the thing is, I know enough. That's why I always say I'm not Danny Dyer. So that's your enemies, that's my enemies. But now I'm not saying that he should allow it to spill over to where, innocent fans are getting hurt or anything. I'm not saying about the violent side of it, but culturally he should understand
he's sending signals. Like, I know what you're saying. He's sending signals to say that there is no rivalry there. It's kind of like trying to make it all softy, not in the violent side, but in the competitive side of it as well.
Yeah, it's not about that, mate. It's a simulated war. People can think whatever they want about football, but what it is to me is the European governments, because obviously Kings banned it, but European governments got behind football as a war surrogate, because instead of the Europeans fighting over the territories and national lines, they gave the people the football as a war surrogate. But what they didn't count on is that then creating new rivalries in the same way. So it's still warfare and it's still territorial. And so for anybody to come to go to England, Wales, Scotland, and not respect the cultural traditions of those people, it's the same thing in Qatar. How come in Qatar they respected the no LGBT stuff? Well, then if you are somebody from a different country like me or like that geezer who owns your team now, you need to respect the people and become one of them, or what are you doing there? You're trying to infiltrate their culture and do your own thing. So
that's what it is, yeah.
But with that being said, I don't know if you've seen the videos I had, all right? And talking about actually improving on the pitch, all right? And people may not believe in this, and they may think that my concept is outdated, but hear me out. I have some videos concerning a lost Newton Heath LYR manual. You ever seen any of that? No, you probably wouldn't have paid attention to it. So the thing is, long story short, when I was living 6 months in UK in 2019, at one point I was in Jersey Island. There's a jabroni. He's all right. The maniac Mitchell. He wound me up, had a job over there. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so the thing about it is, I was in a funny situation, and then he wasn't nowhere to be found. He battered his woman. He left the island. So then I had met up with these rappers, and we made some Stinging Nettles hip hop. Anyway, I was looking for those boys one day, and I sat on the wrong porch. I was sat in front of the wrong house. And then Geezer came out and told me I was in front of the wrong house. But then what I saw a little old man. His name is Chauncey Briggs. If anybody's in Jersey Island, I'd like to know if he's still alive. I haven't seen him since the pandemic. Geezer's almost 100 years old. Small guy. And he had a football. Yeah? And I was in the wrong gaff to begin with. And they told me, I saw that man for 5 minutes, the old man with a football. And he had shorts on and a tracky top. He looked like he's going to go play football. The guy had to look about 100 years old. And he is about 100 years old. Anyway, literally. Anyway, so, but I stayed where I stayed, and then I went and found my rapper friends. But the park there, I was training martial arts. I was teaching some guys in the park. And I ended up seeing that same guy, a little old man, but nimble, moving like an 18-year-old, to be honest with you, with the ball by himself. And I was done with my class, and he was watching me do some Muay Thai with these guys. And we were looking at each other, and he looked like a tough guy still in his eyes. And I walk over and I says, "Hey, brother, I says, man, were you a professional football player or something? Because what you're doing?" No. But anyway, I don't know if you know what Newton Heath is. Newton Heath, LYR, Lancashire, Yorkshire Railroad. That's what Manchester United came from. Okay. That's the beauty of the British. You could start and make your own local club, and you could go up the divisions. So they started from rail workers. Anyway, going back to the Newton Heath, there's a manual, and this man had a copy of it. It wasn't bound. It wasn't papyrus, but it wasn't paper. Anyway, it's these formations, old school formations from the lost Newton Heath LYR manual. Anyway, I remember them, and I copied them down. I've been practicing on my own. People think I'm a maniac. I'm out there by myself on the football pitch practicing by myself. But in martial arts, right, I'm doing taekwondo and all kind of advanced kicks and advanced technique of striking since day one. So when I met the Brazilians and I did the Gracie Challenge in 1994 in Carson Gracie Conan Academy, they were all just jiu-jitsu. But I was doing jump spin, hook kicks, spinning back fist, Superman punch, tornado kicks. I was doing all that stuff. This is in 1993, 1994. And people were saying that, oh, that's karate stuff and the taekwondo stuff is not going to work. But I would make it work. And then little by little in MMA, people use hammer fist, spinning back fist. What they call a question mark kick is a fake front kick, round kick. So it's like all the stuff that people said wasn't going to work, that's old, people are looking back into now. So I have these formations. I offered it to Inter Miami. They didn't take it. Say, oh, Diablo's just talking. And then somebody else writes in the comments that the formations are from some video game. Like I copied it off a video game. If it exists somewhere else, if it's been used in a video game, I didn't make this stuff up. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's other copies. But if I had opportunity to work with your players, with the CCFC, just give me one session for 2 hours by ourselves. If I could go over some of these and present these ideas, I'm safe.
So wait a minute. Are you telling me that you actually took this book to Miami?
No. I wish if he's dead, maybe it goes back to his family, or I'd like to have it. No, Chauncey Briggs. Charlie Briggs is his real name. He lives in Jersey, in St. Helier. Hey, but listen, no, I wouldn't take it. Now I copied him down. I copied some of the formations and he explained them to me. They didn't have words. They were like, almost like a poem. Almost like a poem. As you pass over and they go under. And he was explaining it to me. So I jotted it down and I took the notes. I have these formations. If I could be given 2 hours with the CCFC just to hear me out, who knows? Maybe we could turn it around, because we just lost now to Blackburn Rovers. And then we got Leeds coming up and they got 4,000 booked, right? Yeah. And then it's Wigan, my nemesis, and Millwall, my top nemesis. And as I told him, if you look at the TikTok video, brother, you Millwall, you're in for the match of your life, champ. And we're going to see if all the hype lives up to the name, because now it's all eyes on Millwall at Cardiff. And I'll have you know, do you know that I was at Cardiff away versus Millwall in 2019? It's true that I did those videos in front of the Den by myself.
Yeah.
That was at Cardiff. I turned up for that match.
Okay,
I turned up for Cardiff versus Millwall. Yeah, in 2019.
We've got a lot of people. Right? So I've got some questions. So we're going to go on to other things as well in this interview, but let's wrap up with the football quickly. So you've sent me some messages. You've got some dates in mind, games in mind. I've had a wave of people like Harry down here asking if you're going to turn up to a certain game or you come into a game. What football matches have you had in mind where you think that the dates might fit for you to come over?
I'm trying to arrange for Wigan and Millwall. I want to be there for those two. If I can, if we can make it happen with the management, if me and you could arrange it, however we make it happen. Yeah. But, I was just over there. So then, I got to try to work it out. And it's a short time. Okay. But that Wigan Goon squad, you dirty sons of guns, I told you that if you kept it up, I'll come and I'll smash the Wigan Casino. The Wigan Casino will be over with Wigan Goon squad, and that'll only be the beginning. And now you're going to be in bandit country, and we'll see what you do in diff, champ. And I already said Millwall, all eyes on Millwall. Hey, we know that there was the best pound for pound at one time. And we know that Soul Crew was the biggest, baddest, and the best at one time. Now, it looks like the Leeds have moved up a little bit, at least in the banding orders. But that 2020, whatever, that documentary at BBC, that's the best in the whole hooliganism. And I challenge everybody online and on Dolan's group and all that to prove me wrong. And nobody can prove me wrong, champ. And I didn't finish it, but before we move on, because there's more characters. There's the millionaire hooligan, Ennis Abraham. There's the top boy, Jonathan Evans. There's the geezer owner, Sam Hammam. There's the footballer turned hooligan, Di Thomas.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got the enforcer, Simo, John Simmons, right? He's going to go caroling. And we must be whiter than white. And Simo is going to be Christmas caroling. I couldn't sing anyway, could I? And then besides that, you got some other guys who they don't name their names. You got the guy who, hey, put down the sticks and let's fucking have it. And then you got another guy with a green windbreaker, and you can't see his face, but they're saying this guy's organizing it. And the fearlessness. Hey, one thing is fighting each other, right? In all the hooligan fights of UK, everybody's fighting each other and throwing chairs and running away from the bill. This group is attacking the bill with missiles. It's the most impressive for anybody out there in the whole planet, America especially. I've been promoting this video. It's a masterpiece, and the music and the characters. So the Soul Crew, and then Kesto. Then you got that whole side. I don't know if he's in Soul Crew or not, but he's connected with the graffiti and stuff. And then you got Starves and Local and those guys. FernQuest in Fern.
Have you seen Local's podcast with us?
What's up?
We've done a podcast with Local.
I haven't found that. Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, it's on there. I'll
look for it.
he did a podcast, and he was on last year's Christmas special as well. So yeah.
Well, let me stop there. Since let's move on from the football onto the music.
Whoa! Before we do, there's one more thing. What's the response been like with Swansea? Have you got a light so you can put a light on?
Yeah, I'm trying. We need some more light over here.
What's the response saying off Swansea?
I'm still trying to adjust light, but as far as the Jacks, right? These guys, what I see is this is different. Okay, Welsh people, and even though I don't consider them Welsh because they're not down with you guys, but they're obviously Welsh. Different than British, than English. English are very gobby, man. I like to talk a lot and banter a lot and say this and that, and I accept it, and I do it with them. But the Welsh don't talk as much like that from my experience. So it's a bit more serious. So the thing is, those Jacks, you know, some says, hey, you need to come down Swansea. Like, they're challenging me to come down, but they haven't been threatening me. And nah, you muppet, they haven't been doing all that I get from the London groups, let's say. They've not been saying everything, but obviously they've taken notice. But so I take it a bit more serious. You see, I take the piss and walk around in London. Like, are we getting any better light? I take the piss and walk around in South London, and I walk to Millwall Stadium by myself. And I take the piss and go and Penge, and I'm not saying Millwall and South London is soft by any means, but even still, I won't do that in Swansea, bro. I won't do that in Cardiff. So what I'm saying is that they're obviously good, and I've heard it from all the people who have been to Plymouth, Swansea, and I've seen footage of them. I'm not going to big them up. I'm not going to share their videos, nothing like that, because you guys are enemies of them, so I'm enemies of them. But I do give respect, and that's a dangerous group, and they got a lot of lads. And like I said before, if they're fighting Cardiff the whole time, and they're constantly keeping, if you're second place in a race and you're behind the best person in the world, you're right behind, you're at the top. So the thing about it is with the Jacks, I've said what I said, and I stand together, and I want to be in the canton singing, in the Swansea slums, in the Swansea slums. They look in the dustbin for something to eat. They find a dead rat and they think it's a treat. In the Swansea slums. I'm gonna be in the canton with you guys singing that one. You could have a lemonade.
I'll have a lemonade for sure. I might even have a drink for that. We'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then. So there's been a lot. I wanted to talk to you because I know not just with the football, but you are very educated, and you know you have a past where you know you was very passionate about something. I won't say the name of the group, but you know we had Tommy Robinson on the podcast. He's just been allowed back on Twitter, and obviously we've got the stuff with Andrew Tate that's been going on, and I just wanted to kind of get your take on the situation. First and foremost with Andrew Tate, and where do you think that's going?
Okay, interesting, because as everybody must see out there, he's blown up, big recently. So the thing about it is, I didn't know who it was. But then some time ago, I think I saw him first from the Piers Morgan interview. But I don't like that twat, so I don't watch that. So I didn't watch the whole interview. I just saw that they were okay. So then it's like, he's standing up for men, and he's doing it in an abrasive way. But I know about meninism. I used to be with the feminist movement, but I parted ways with them because they came against me, the third wave feminism. But so I'm not like, and people, I've been accused my whole life of being misogyny and all that sort of stuff. But really, tell you the truth, I'm not aggressive as much. I'm 48 years of age and stuff. So I'm not going to take a personal stance like Andrew Tate and stuff. I'd rather everybody get along. We're into a male culture, and people could regard it as toxic masculinity. But I got no problem with women, and everybody's birds and everybody's daughters and everything like that. But under Andrew Tate, he's playing a character. His character is obviously reflective of his own personality in the same way mine is. It's just the subject matter he's approaching is that. So people don't like hooliganism, but at the same time, I'm not directly saying anything against them. I'm just saying we're into our own thing, brotherhood. So with that chat, I knew about him from that. And little by little, I started seeing more. And then the people questioning his kickboxing. And I started seeing his kickboxing. He's good. And everything. So I started thinking he's pretty cool, and and I started seeing some of it. And then to be honest with you, I started looking at his real stuff, the Hustlers University, and he's the next Anthony Robbins. But he's, as far as a motivational speaker, As far as for somebody like me, who's sitting around on a lot of things, who sleeps all day, and for somebody to say you're lazy, you're a loser, you have a business idea, why don't you do it today? So the thing is, for an alpha male, and for somebody who's aggressive, and for somebody who's starting from nothing, let's say, I think he has a lot of good business principles. Not everybody's going to be able to hear that because of the shock with the other stuff. And then as far as trolling with Greta Thunberg and all that, as he says, all attention is good attention. Me and him is similar. I'd like to meet the man. I'd like to be in the war room, maybe. I don't know that much about him, but I've already gathered stuff. And like he said, you can learn from anybody. He learned from a guy who's a coke addict. You can learn from anybody. So I've taken principles from him. So with Andrew Tate, as far as what they say, human trafficking, I mean, you're innocent until proven guilty as far as I'm concerned. And what do they mean? Strippers? And so a lot of other people are guilty of that too. So a man's innocent until proven guilty. Do I think he's trafficking children or raping women? No, that man don't need to rape nobody when you got 6 supercars and everything like that. So we're different. We're not into the same thing. But from what I've seen of the man, nobody's completely good or bad. Any historical figure, anybody you know.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there's things to take from him. I don't support everything he says. That's all I'll say about the man. I don't really know that much about him, but I do respect what him and his brother have accomplished, going from being broke kickboxers, eating flavor, eating rice and peas, and waiting for people to leave fried chicken at Kentucky Fried Chicken to go into multimillionaires and, having all this stuff that they have. Now I celebrate the same sort of lifestyle and directly coming against anybody that doesn't come against you, but that's their character. That's what they do. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on Andrew Tate. And Tommy Robinson, you want to say next? I'll go on.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just wanted to say, like, don't you think it's quite worrying though, like the way things are going, where like it just seems to be that anyone who actually is outspoken or has a different opinion to the narrative, they're just getting shut down straight away.
Yeah, well, we have a lot more to cover on this, but it's going to be beyond this particular podcast. But once you start going into what people are saying, conspiracy theories, and we start going into vaccines, and we start going to the internationalism, globalism. See, one thing I'll tell everybody, whether you like it or not, you want to have this new world order, and you want to deprive us of our sovereignty, and all the things basically you start to hint at. What these idiots don't realize is by promoting soccer is nationalism, you twats. Don't you see everybody has football flags, fighting? It's too late. The hooliganism has spread. And the fashion, what casuals have created, British casuals. You look at football terraces, everybody ain't wearing shirts, docking jackets. Everybody's wearing clobber. Who started that? These lads, these casuals boys. So the bigger soccer gets, its strength as nationalism. It ain't about everybody coming together in a big international community. Nah, fuck all you twats from the other countries. We'll smash and destroy you and take your whole country over. There's nationalism, the Welsh flag, the dragon versus St. George's cross. That's Christianity. So these morons, as much as you want to make a world community and internationalism with deprive our sovereignty, it's about nationalism. And that's what football's about, champ. But as far as peeling the layers away of this conspiracy and this matrix and all the other stuff, Rogan and these Elon Musk talk, we can get there, baby. And if we do that, me and you will be number one, because I got more knowledge about this than everybody, because I've been in prison, and I've been with the black groups, and I've been with the white power groups, and I'm anti-racist groups, and I study the esoteric knowledge. I understand beyond the religions, beneath the religions. You feel me? So everybody out there that's talking right now, everybody you name and Joe Rogan and everything, they don't know all of it.
Well, did you see what happened? Did you see what happened in Fort Lauderdale recently, where you're from, of the drag group that happened? It was a concert of drags in a cinema, and like there was kids in there and stuff, and it was all over the news. But it rung bells to me because it was Fort Lauderdale, where you're from. Okay, so it's an interesting, and I won't comment about the underlying subject matter because it's a delicate subject, and I would rather. It is delicate. Right, let me just say this. Here's a distortion, because you got to understand, your UK news is like in America if there was only CNN and MSNBC and Democrats. There's no other side. Your Fox News is banned. Isn't Fox News banned? Yeah, I think no. RT is. I think Fox is.
I'm pretty sure Fox News is banned in England. That's anyway, so they call it hate speech. So here's the thing. You would hear a presentation on the narrative like Florida and Governor DeSantis is fascist and like don't say gay and Disney and all this. You would think like that Florida like is not gay friendly. We have the #1 gay city in the world, you clowns, Wilton Manors. the #1 gay city in the world, openly gay city. They don't have any problems with anybody. They're thriving. People go there as a tourist destination. I've gone to drag shows there. They have a drag show. They have a drag queen, a hamburger place. But to me, it's an adult lifestyle. I'm a skinhead. I'm a hooligan. I don't subject children to that. I'm not going to go to a damn elementary school. I go there and teach them martial arts. I ain't going to go there and show them a hooligan movie and show them how me and my friends go around kicking people's heads in for a laugh. It's an adult life. I'm not going to go in there and talk to them about acid. So then if you want to be a transvestite, aka a drag queen, right? It's the same thing. They used to call it transvestite when I was a kid. I'm friends with some of them. I've had them in my events, in the Antifa events in the past. I try to be friends with them. I don't got no problem with them or their lifestyle. In Wilton Manors, do whatever you want. But grooming and sexualization of children is inappropriate. It happened to me. Not that way. But it's just I came from a different generation. I was forced to see by an uncle of mine. I was forced to sat down when I was 3 years old when he's babysitting me. He showed me hardcore porn, Vanessa Del Rio gangbang on a and then by myself, my parents is up there doing their own thing when we have cable TV at 5 years old, and I'm scrolling through, I found Clockwork Orange. So my first sexual experience, seeing sex was the rape scene of Clockwork Orange. Wow. Me watching that downstairs. So the thing is, that's a sexualization of children. And then my uncles all had hardcore porn magazines, not Playboys, hardcore porn magazines with dicks and everything else, and she-males and hardcore porn. So and they're showing that to me. I'm getting exposed to that before I saw normal, romance or something. So what it did is to me, it just made me real hardcore, a womanizer into sexuality. You know what I mean? And none of the love and romantic component. But showing a child any type of sexual material, I'm not with that, bro. So with that being said, those people, that's their thing. You know what I mean? Florida, it's like somebody saying something in Wales. So I don't believe that no kid's supposed to be in no drag queen story hour or no drag queen anything. Kids ain't supposed to know about sex until their parents tell them at home. So that's evil to me. Not the drag queen part of it. Not the choosing sexuality.
I think that's totally fine, isn't it? I think it's just like you said, it's a time and a place for it, I think. And when I say time and place, I mean, an age limit, I don't think we should be corrupting children to it. That's what I think. And that's a good point this girl said here. Look at the beauty pageants. It's a perfect example of that, like sexualizing kids.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, mate. I think that I was deprived of my innocence, you could say, as a child because of the way I was raised. But it was an experimental. It was coming off the hippie generation. I'm happy with what I am. You know what I mean? Yeah,
of course.
But with children, man, these formative years of a child's life, and I teach children, these formative years of a child's life are crucial, and what they're exposed to, you know what I mean, and to corrupt the kid, as you said it. And it's not to say that the lifestyle is corrupt, but to get somebody thinking that you're choosing sexuality, what do you mean? I'm gonna tell you something. Like, for example, me, I saw sex, hardcore sex and nudity and everything else, and I was exposed to it. And hippies don't care too much if there's kids running around, if you know what I mean, when I grew up. So the thing is, I was exposed to it, but guess what? I hated girls. I didn't want to get into sex. I didn't like girls even through 5th grade. I didn't start liking girls. I hated girls. I didn't start liking girls and wanting to kiss girls until I was 11 years old. So left to
I think that's a normal age, though. I think that's pretty normal.
Well, how do you get? So
before that, you just want to pull their hair and
so imagine that they're asking children about your sexuality. What sexuality? 6 years old, 8 years old. So yeah, I think that's evil from any perspective. And then just not to get too deep into it, but if you just want to kick the facts, when they accuse all that stuff of being grooming, the founders of Gay Pride, with the flag that they're wearing, everybody's wearing that flag, they were all pedophiles, openly. They're in an organization called about man-boy love, NAMBLA. Look it up. It's public fact. NAMBLA. National Association for Man-Boy Love. All the people who created that movement, I'm not saying everybody in the whole movement, but there's the famous author, one of these authors. I'll leave it at that. But if you look at who invented that gay pride flag, and they're saying they're not grooming children for sexuality, and what about that Desmond? He got him a drag queen on stage at 10 years old, and people are throwing money to him. You feel me? So there's definitely a sexualization of children going on. It's been going on forever in terms of child brides and underage girls having sex and Jeffrey Epstein. So grooming children for sex, new. Just that this new kind of element of it with the drag queen and so forth. But we already condemn it elsewhere. Where, like you said, with the beauty pageants, I think most people think that's messed up. And you know, like the Jackass made fun of it. The girls doing a strip dance and Jackass.
Yeah.
Putting a young kid on the stage, boy or girl or drag, and having adults looking at them.
It's weird.
Let alone tipping them. So what are you looking at? I'll slap you in your face. You know what I mean? That's gross, bro. And the pedos, I'm gonna tell you, the British got a major problem with that. A lot of my mates, I know a lot of people who's molested by older family members. I see it in some of the shows and the churches and stuff. There's a major issue, and I hate pedo. You know what I mean? So I think we both see it the same way, but neither one of us are against anybody in any community. I got plenty of great friends, and I hang out and I go to gay bars. You feel me? So there's nothing wrong with it in an adult environment. It's an alternative lifestyle. It should not be preached as being normal in the sense of what a kid is supposed to grow up. You're supposed to get married, you know, have a kid, have a family, be a responsible person in life. That's what general things you teach a kid. Now, if they go off on their own way and they decide to do this or that, you still love them. But to encourage a kid to adopt an alternative lifestyle, I don't agree with it.
Okay, then I just wanted your little opinion on it. Really, we could dive in on it on another time, but there's a time and a place, like we said. I want to go back to sports a little bit, kind of going all over. But what is your take, being a mixed martial artist? What's your take on the baddie situation? It seems like he's come from hero to zero in like a matter of moments. What's your take on it?
Or if you have a higher way of looking at it, like I do, so you know something about pro wrestling. You watch the pro wrestling. Some people know something about it, but you don't understand pro wrestling psychology in terms of booking and storytelling, let's say. So you said what, hero and zero? How about if you look at it in pro wrestling psychology, which which is babyface and heel. Babyface is a good guy, heel is a bad guy. So what he's done is, I don't know that much about him. I've seen him. He's from Liverpool. And he sees the success Conor McGregor has. He's already being mentioned up there. Conor McGregor is the biggest draw. He's from Liverpool. Maybe he doesn't have the same talent that Conor McGregor has, but he's done a heel turn. Maybe he didn't mean to. He was just trying to get some money, right? From what? Ariel Helwani. He was asking him to pay him for an interview. That's what it started from. But so the thing is this: babyface and heel turn. You can go back and forth. Ric Flair, you look at his career, he's mainly a heel, but sometimes he's a babyface, depending on the situation. So all it would take is right now, let's say a Liverpool fighter or a British fighter or a hero, somebody everybody loves. I don't pay attention to the younger fighters that much, but somebody everybody loves of the UFC. Tell me who's a fan favorite in his division.
In his division? Oh, I don't know.
What is he, 155?
Go on.
Anyway, he's 155.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a minute. So I think Charles Oliveira. Everybody likes Charles Oliveira.
Okay,
and he's Brazilian, right? Imagine if I was Paddy, if I wanted to do a babyface turn, or his management, and the Charles Oliveira, maybe his management would agree. You do just like the Four Horsemen did to Dusty Rhodes. You attack the guy outside with masks, allegedly. So now it's a bunch of guys beating up Charles Oliveira because he's Brazilian. English guys beating up Charles Oliveira. And now Paddy miraculously runs out and says, "You can't!" Bang, 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 bang. And then he saves the Charles Oliveira. And then Charles Oliveira brings him to Brazil. And now so it's all storytelling. So
Well, so you think it's that deep, though? Do you? Like, it's actually
I don't know enough. I just found out about this guy, and I come from an older generation and everything like that. I'm still actively involved. I'm around fighters all the time. So the thing is, it's just that the sport has evolved to more of a sport. And it's a bunch of athletes and wrestlers and that's cool. But I come from an era when it's valetudo and street fighters, and you know what I mean, when karate and any kind of martial art, and it wasn't such a narrowed down sport. You know, it's like with all these rules, I fight valetudo, and one day I know the British people they're not really into the grappling so much, more into boxing and bare knuckle and so forth. But Brazilian bare knuckle, valetudo, bare knuckle, no time limits. You can kick in the groin. You can headbutt. You can use elbows. No points. That's the real simulation of a street fight. Once you start saying, "Oh, if one of my knees are down, you can't knee me in the face." You know, you could game the system. Now you make it more of a sport, and it favors all these athletes who went to school and who played by the rules, and now they're playing by more rules. Now, it is a fight to me, but I respect it. It makes more money and everything like that. But as far as the baddie, I know who he is, so he's doing something right, because I'm not paying attention to all the fighters. To me, the most exciting guy is Kamzat.
Yeah, he is. He's a badass, isn't he?
And his character, he's the heel, you know,
he's
and
the heel.
He's legit, and he's got the background. So, like, I was excited. I went and watched his fight. I'm not exactly going to go turn up to go watch a Paddy fight. If I'm there, I'm there. So, you know, wish him well in his career and everything like that.
Yeah.
As far as what he's doing, if he would ever hear this, if he's not doing it calculated, if he's just reacting, he should do it more calculated, and he should maybe get with, if Paddy the Baddy would hear this, if you want career advice, get with Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is one of the greatest psychology minds of wrestling in history.
No,
he's doing his own thing now. I don't think he's working for any of the big companies. If you got that guy behind you, if you got that guy, Paddy, you'll conquer the world. You leave Connor behind you, and you make a Beatles tribute, and you get into Liverpool and the Scouts and make a Scouts gangster movie. Yeah, so I could do a lot with that guy. I would bring Jim Cornette to get involved, or I could just write from myself. I know Jim Cornette's theories.
I think what people have kind of been upset with Paddy is he was that Scouse working class guy, up the Tories type of guy, and then he's on a podcast with Dana White, really like trying to suck his ass, and it weren't a good look in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Because he's up the establishment, and now he's tucking up quite nice and cozy with the owner of UFC. It looked like he was kind of selling out a little bit. I think that's where a lot of people didn't like what they were seeing. But onto another thing.
Let me stop you there. If he's selling out, if that's what he's being accused of with wrestling, you could just fabricate something out of nowhere, like the Ultimate Warrior, or like me, Del Boy Diablo, or like Dusty Rhodes or Ric Flair. You take the person and you just exaggerate, or you play into it. So you say people say
Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair are two different people.
Yeah, but individually, Dusty Rhodes, out of character, he's still Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
You don't talk like we put on the act more when we're in character, but it's still the person. It's not a completely different person. So with that being said, if you're accusing my guy of being a sellout, perfect. Now he's a rich man character. Now you put him in a business suit and he's got the women around him, like an Andrew Tate.
I get you.
Put him like Andrew Tate with a cigar. And you peasants, that's right, I sold out because I'm sick and tired of all you working class people, and you've done nothing for me, and I got here on my own, and you guys couldn't hold a candle to my way. So you play into it. Make him a bigger sellout.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay, so there's something that like I know you picked up on since obviously coming on our podcast, which it's inevitable that you would, because this corner of YouTube is quite crazy, bizarre, however you want to put it. But you started mentioning characters. I could say characters, but they are individuals. But you started naming characters to me that I thought you would never have come across. But coming on the Central Club, how silly am I? And you started naming people like Decker Heggie and Dean Lynch Ward and Dougie Joyce and Darren Jean. How did you come across? Was it just the fact of like coming on the podcast and then looking at
you?
Okay.
From Central Club. Okay, so it's funny that you said that about characters. Okay, so what I'm mentioning, so Soul Crew is like a universe. It's like a whole comic book universe, all the characters I mentioned, right? Yeah, the top guys in that universe. And then Kung Fu, wrestling. So now I found that there's a universe of this Bare Knuckle and Traveler. I've been knowing about Travelers, and I've been watching Traveler call-outs because some people say I like it. I don't think English people like it. If they tell me not to talk the way I talk because they say I sound like a traveler, but so what? I respect them. I like them. I think they're cool. But anyway, so then I knew about Traveler community. What it is, and it's funny, I'll tell you this real quick. People don't cry racism when it's alleged white groups against white groups. But like the portrayal of Guy Ritchie, he's a Cockney. Yeah. The way he portrays Travelers, Irish gypsies, calling them pikeys and this and that, and they're making them look like scumbags. How is that not racist? If you did that to black people or you did it to Latino people,
Yeah,
you make
yeah.
us look like that, people would say that. So with that being said, I saw those movies and I took it as it was. I took it at face value. That's how they are. And then I saw Knuckle long time ago. You know Knuckle, a documentary?
Wicked. Yeah.
I saw, and I got to see the people on their own. And then when I was living in Plymouth, I worked on a fair at one time with some traveler type of people. You know,
Okay.
they weren't exactly Irish; they're Cornish. But I couldn't get regular work because I didn't have that. You need that insurance card, and here in America, anybody can get a job. You don't have to speak English. You go to the local hardware store, people will pay you up, pick you up, and pay you $100 to work for the day. But here in UK, you need that ID card. Nobody would give me work, so I ended up getting on with the traveler, with the fair. You know what I mean? In Wexmouth and these other types. So what I found is they're honorable people. They're good people. They're not soft, obviously. They didn't do it. They gave me my money. They treated me well. And so everybody I've met who's had a traveler background, and I've been taught a lot too. A lot of people pretend like it. Not pretend. They say their background is this. My mates, I got guys there who are janitors who are part of that. Their family is that. But like my mate, Ryan, his dad lived in caravan. His dad is the first one of their family that bought a house. So then, but he's saying like, I'm Cuban, but I'm born in America. I'm Americanized. They're like English. So the real travelers, from what I heard, don't send their kids to regular school. They don't hang out with other people.
No.
They obviously don't have bank account. They don't do. So the thing is, they have family members who establish roots. But the question becomes, are you still a traveler if you now have a house and you? So that's not for me to judge. I'm interested in learning more. But I'll just say this: people call them gypsies, pikeys, jippos, whatever you want to call it. Traveler people. I've had nothing but good experience. I want to meet more of them. I respect their culture. I like them. Now, as far as the sort of scams they do, and sell you the caravan that the bottom comes off, and other tricks they pull, that's their hustle, baby. As long as you don't do it to me, they ain't got nothing to do with my friends. They ain't got nothing to do with me. So now going back into it, I didn't know who Dekahegi was. What it was is, when I was doing the interview with you, it was that the Del Boy. People, you asked me about the Del Boy. Why am I called it? The English name is Del Boy. I didn't know who it was. But I embrace it. Now I like it. It makes sense. But so Del, Deca, Deza, all that is shortening Derek. So that's when you told me, oh yeah, Dekahegi. But I didn't know who he was, right? So then from your podcast, I started looking at Dekahegi, and then I started seeing the Joyces. And then I started watching their fights and getting into it. So I'd rather watch those guys than UFC.
Yeah,
I don't sit around watching UFC videos and the characters in UFC are a bunch of athletes and people pretending to be this and that and trying to act like pro wrestling, and that's cool and everything. But the characters in the 3D Fight Club, you got Dougie Joyce, right? That's the main man. He's like the Ric Flair. The Dean Lynch Ward, they're like the Four Horsemen. I think the Joyces. I want to see. They have a documentary, and it went to #1 in Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I couldn't find it for free. I'll buy it. I support them. I don't mind. From what I've seen of them, obviously a lot of people don't like them. A lot of people don't like me. But I don't see anybody do anything to them. They're in Manchester. And here's the thing about it. So not to pick sides, but you got to figure, I started with Manchester United. I started with Manchester. And my mate.
Well, that's what Dennis has been asking. Are you still a Man U fan, he was saying?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Do I actually sit there and watch football? I turn up for matches. I travel. I go to the matches. If I'm in a pub, I watch it. I don't sit home and watching football and paying attention to the scores and all that. Manchester United means something different to me. I told you, George Best, my first match in 1979, he played for my club, Fort Lauderdale Strikers. My very first match, I saw George Best play. Other Manchester United staff. The logos were around. I saw that when I was 5 years old, and I was my parents from British culture. My adopted father, rest in peace, he would go to the matches with me because he's into the British culture. He knew it was a big deal that George Best was there. You know what I mean? So then I saw it was different, and I saw that logo, and it looks different than an American sports team. So then when I started with the hooliganism, I read Among the Thugs. That's United Red Army. And then I eventually, when I was the leader of Colorblind Tri-County South Florida Skinheads, eventually we had two lads move from Manchester, second generation Red Army, English Matt and English Brian, that's what we call them. They moved to West Palm and they joined my crew. And then some other lads start telling me, hey, we got two, because everybody knew I was in hooliganism. This is in the 90s. And they say, we got two guys that's from England now in our gang. I was like, really? So I went and met them, Manchester. And then my mate Matt, he started teaching me and telling me more, and he got me a scarf. And then later in life, it was me and him who created Miami Casuals. I wouldn't have done it by myself. I asked him if this would be okay and how to go about it. Anyway, so I started Miami Casuals based on Manchester United. And my mates, ILF, or Red Army, in Orlando, and I was trying to be Red Army here, but there are a bunch of dorks here, so I couldn't get on with them. But so anyway, yeah, I'm never gonna be against that love in terms of the culture. Thing about it is, they had the fan base had every opportunity to embrace me and bring me. Who's the two firms or two cities that brought me? Plymouth and Cardiff. So that's it. As far as streets, when it comes down to it, CP gang, Cardiff, Plymouth. As far as respecting Manchester United and Busby's Babes, and all is respecting the history of it, and Premier League. Let's just say Premier League, Manchester United. Championship League, Cardiff. Division 1, League 1, Plymouth. Yeah. So the thing is, I still got love for Manchester, yes. But when it comes down to picking sides of Cardiff and what's up? If it comes time to picking sides between Cardiff and Manchester, match day, I'm gonna be with Cardiff. And but as far as Miami Casuals go, so it brings me, and I gotta go. But it brings me to one of my concepts that I've talked about online, but it's going to take everybody a while to figure it out. If you look at the Miami Casuals logo I made in 2018, I used the crocodile from Lacoste because to me that symbolizes casuals as a gang.
And Florida.
The Fred Perry wreath, like you see, I got a Fred Perry wreath, black and white for two-tone, but I got a Fred Perry wreath because a Fred Perry is a skinhead gang symbol. So in America, like folk nations, Pitchfork, Latin Kings, you have all the different gang signs. So if you see pitchforks and you see crowns, 3-point crown, 5-point crown in neighborhoods, you see what it means. It's claiming territory. So then a wreath with something inside of it, that's a skinhead gang. So in the same way, I was looking around and in the Casuals book, I saw people using the crocodile. So bottom line, if you look at the sticker, it says Casuals Miami. It doesn't say, people say, why isn't it Miami Casuals? Because it's like a motorcycle club. You have the rocker on top, which says the name of the gang, Casuals. And on the bottom is the chapter, Miami. So ultimately, Miami Casuals, to me, it's just me and my mate. It's me, one-man firm, basically. It's a statement. It's like saying Miami Skinheads. It's not a firm unto itself. So with that being said, nobody's challenging me. And who's our rivals? Whoever wants to, I don't know. I don't really have any. Nobody's challenged us in America. So with that being said, it doesn't really exist. If any lads want to come to Miami, which lads are going to come soon in April from different places in England, we hang out in South Beach, we'll go to Miami, we'll do everything. But if you want to have an experience of football, something like a British style, we'll go to Orlando with the ILF, Iron Lion Firm. And those are my old skinhead mates so like Orlando and Miami is 3.5 hours away. And that's my second city. When I want to go somewhere else, that's where I go. So it's the same thing of Cardiff and Plymouth. And we're brothers with each other. We help each other. And we go to each other's cities. We're friends. You know what I mean? So in that respect, Miami Casuals doesn't have no natural enemies. Nobody in America wants to be enemy. Everybody accepts me as the ambassador, as the figurehead. All the other groups. And I've already been around the country doing gang stuff. The other groups, I'm friends with other ones that are heavy, and they want to be friends with me, and I respect them. Like, let's say Chicago. Ain't nobody gonna go into Chicago and do no gang stuff. And what are you gonna start rampaging and attacking people in the street in Chicago? And there's a firm there, and you're in their neighborhood with all those gangs. You feel me? So I'm friends with those guys. They respect me because they're anti-racist from the past too. So with that being said, the strongest groups in America are behind me, more or less. And then, we don't have no natural rivals.
Thank you, Dad, for that. Well, listen, obviously, if you have to go, you have to go. Listen,
yes, I do.
Just to let the people know, that we are planning behind the scenes to get you back over to do some footage, bring you to some Cardiff games, home and away, preferably. And hopefully, we'll do more of these as well. I'm going to start coming on live more often as well. So we'll definitely get you on more often if that's what you want as well. You've had some nice.
Let me stop you there, bro. This is the only time I've ever went live.
Really?
This is the first time I went live. People asked me before, but I've been saving it. I save it for you. I save it for Cardiff. This is the first time I've gone live, buddy. But we can do more. There's a lot more. And let alone if we sat down with some other guys, and if you want to do it more Joe Rogan style and take the red pill and peel the layers of the matrix away, I'll be your guy.
Yeah. I'm all down for that. And the thing is, we just literally, like, we just said, oh, should we go live tonight? This is like, there's no promotion behind this. People didn't know. So, you know, we will make sure next time that we put more advertisement into it, and we'll put more planning into it, and put more thought into it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I'll take care of the lighting better next time. But hopefully, I'm in diff for the next one. I want to come ASAP. I want my management to make it happen. People of Cardiff, make it happen. I want to come back to you. I love you. I want to come back tomorrow.
Do you want to, before you go out there, do you want to see it off in fashion for the people?
Once again, you've witnessed brilliance. The greatest showman on earth. The hooligan prophet, the hooligan historian. Stay tuned. Lots more to come. Stay central. So crew.
The guy's a legend, man. Guy is a legend. Derek, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. I'll give you a little call when I'm come off this, okay, my brother. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Honestly, the guy's a legend, and he's obviously put a lot of thought and effort into, you know, the culture. And you know, I was quite shocked and blown back by everything that he's gone and looked into since coming back from Cardiff. You know, so I think, you know, we've got a lot of people who have asked him to come over for some football games. I know Swansea is an obvious one. Wigan and Millwall as well are ones in conversation as well. So hopefully, you know, it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, can't wait. Stop talking utter breeze, mate. Yeah, big up TK, big up Yanto. D Lion says I like him. Yeah, he's a good guy, man. He is a really good guy, honestly. Happy days. And check out his vids. Yeah, so Derek Diablo on YouTube is Derek D Diablo or Derek Alvarez. Let me just double check for you, just so you can get it on you right there. Stay there. I'm gonna get his YouTube channel up now. He's always uploading videos and videos. It's Diablo TV right there. And before we go as well, I'm just going to quickly get you onto his TikTok. I need to find that now. Diablo TV. I'm sure that's what it is. Diablo TV. There we are. Derek Diablo TV on Twitter, on TikTok as well. So go check it out. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to say to you all that 2022 is going to be a big, big year. We've just moved into our new studio. It's there, the place. We've got the keys. We're in. We're just taking our time now to make it look how we want it to look, because this is us for the foreseeable. This is us for the foreseeable future. We've got a couple of guests ready who want to get interviewed as soon as possible. So, you know, in the next couple of weeks, we will start filming in there. We have got some content ready to put out as well. So we're back at it this Sunday. And yeah, we're going to start bringing you more lives more often. So please stay tuned. And I want to say thank you for all your support in 2022. We gained over 10,000 subscribers in 2022. And let's make 2023 a great year. So thank you all so much. I'm going to love and leave you all. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay central.